I'm Silmarie, this is Silver Baltic, and welcome back to Politics for people who are not actually interested in politics. And today I will be talking about the fall of Rupert Murdoch. So a few days ago, the government officially announced that they found out that Rupert Murdoch wasn't fit to run News Corporation, his company. And to be frank, it's not that interesting because, well, to be frank, the Leveson Inquiry and hacking scandal have been fascinating the media and pretty much no one else since it started. But let's go back on the main points of this story and why it actually matters. Though, let's go back to the start. Murdoch, on the evil genius scale going from 1 to sitting in an armchair, stroking a cat and laughing at poor people, he does rank pretty high. He is the creator of News Corporation and the owner of lots of newspapers and media outlets around the world, including in the UK, The Sun, The Times and many more. In June 2010, his company decided to acquire the 61% of BSkyB they're already owning. And so, as a result of that, in November of the same year, Prince Cable, hated by students, Lib Dem, etc., asked Ofcom to do a review of the effect it could have on media plurality in the UK. Though a month later, he was actually stripped of the job because he got recorded privately saying that he was declaring war on Murdoch. The person replacing him was Conservative Jeremy Hunt, which in hindsight was actually a very, very bad idea, but we'll come back to that. In the meantime, move forward to July 2011. We'd already known at that point that Murdoch owned papers like News International had been involved in phone hacking. Mainly celebrities' phones and the royal family, and so people obviously cared because it is journalistic malpractice, but it was still kind of fine. The whole $1 million scandal happened. But you must know about this, and if you don't, I'm really sorry. It's not my fault if you live in a cave, really. I can't just explain everything. So when this happened, on the same month, News Corp decided to withdraw their bid, the BSkyB bid, and David Cameron decided to call for the Leveson Inquiry to have a review of the press ethics and standards, and which also retrospectively was a bit of a bad idea, but at least for him. So yes, the first real thing that happened with this that touched him privately was Andy Coulson, who's his communications director and also News of the World editor. Found out that he was actually knee-deep in the hacking, knee-deep in the phone hacking stories. He knew about it, didn't do anything about it. So terrible story. It's not exactly the sort of person you want in government, really. The second thing happened just a few weeks ago, actually, about Jeremy Hunt, who I mentioned earlier. It turns out that he was actually sending and receiving lots of private emails from News Corp people, and he was completely biased on the whole story. He was actually in complete favour of News Corp taking over BSkyB. He said it clearly, and he was trying to make sure it was happening, which is, actually really bad, because his role was actually to be objective and, make sure that it's actually a fair choice. So, surprisingly, he actually kept his job as a minister, even though he did break the ministerial code. And David Cameron is standing by him still. Somehow. And we get to the funny bit. Do you know the common point between the Prime Minister, the newspaper editor, the Metropolitan Police, and the horse? To be frank, it does sound like a really questionable sex tape. But it isn't. It's actually more interesting than that. And, basically, the Metropolitan Police wanted to get rid of one of their old horses. Decided to give it, out of all people, to Rebecca Brooks, the ex-editor, the ex-Sun editor. Which, is bad enough in itself, because really, you don't really want the press to be in bed with a journalist. You don't really want the press to be in bed with the police. But then, it doesn't really stop here. Rebecca Brooks decided it'd be a brilliant idea to lend the horse to David Cameron, who, rode it for a while. Lucky horse. And so now we come back to our initial point, where Rupert Murdoch was found unfit to run News Corp. Which should be interesting, because he's probably going to try to get his revenge, and he is a really, really powerful man. And also David Cameron has been asked to come to the Leveson Inquiry to give evidence, and he's been receiving legal advice and is basically shitting his pants. So that should be quite entertaining, to say the least. I'll probably come back and talk about that in a few weeks, and well, I guess we'll see. As per usual, if you're more interested in the subject, just go read some papers. And I'll leave you with this valuable information, which is that Jeremy Hunt and News Corp officials were meant to go see Take That together last summer. Bye!